Ma. It's the first word we usually learn to say, and the first person we usually experience love with. Yeah. The connection between a mom and a daughter is unlike any other. Yeah. Even when you're not exactly getting along, she'll still be your biggest champion. And you'd be there for her in a heartbeat. And yet I know that the complication, that the relationship is fraught with complications invariably. Some women grow up ignored or dismissed by their moms. Some face criticism, some are highly controlled, some are smothered with love. And for some, the relationship is reversed, early on, as in they look after their mom and their mom instead of their mom looking after them. Now, what are the ways in which this relationship influences us? We're going to be talking about that today. Today, we have a truly inspiring woman in the house, educated at an Ivy League business school, followed by 16 years in corporate life. She moved to the world of psychology and healing and became a therapist in 2007. She spent almost a decade working on family and structure constellations, what she's going to be talking about today. Please welcome this woman who is going to dazzle you with her ability to understand the mind. Revati Dige, I've been really looking forward to tonight's call with you on the Mystic Lotus Awesome Women's Tele Summit. So, so lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much, Ruchira. Delighted to be here. And, the way you introduce the topic, I think I can already kind of, it's beautiful to hear you kind of speak in that way. And I kind of just felt so drawn into the way, you described our relationship with the mother. Yes.
So, Revati, the reason I did that is we've had we've spoken for the last 1 month on this topic, and I think I've become so much more sensitized to all the nuances. And I know I'm personally, I'm very close to my mother as well. And we do have a relationship that is full of love and yet full of little complexities as well. So I know today your topic talks about healing mother wounds. But what are mother wounds? How do we know if we have them? What if it's not? What if we are okay with our moms?
Okay, that's a good question, because to be very honest, when one embarks on this journey of healing, I don't think very few people actually walk in to say, hey, you know what, I want to heal my relationship with my mother or a mother wound.
Okay.
But as you kind of talked about, what is the depth of the relationship with our mother? So now let's jump straight into, how do you know that you have mother wounds? And for this, I will kind of check back to some of the answers that you read through in the chat.
Okay.
Somebody said, I want to heal my relationship with my partner. I want to have a better relationship with my child. Yeah. I want to have a better relationship with my in-laws. And, so all of this is actually encompassed in the mother wound. So, when we are growing up, the mother is the most important person for us. But I think once we cross through our teens and we step out into the outside world, we don't kind of go back talking about the mother the way we did. Or let's say it doesn't remain, the most important thing for us, because we sort of learn to make peace with us. So what really happens is, who has a mother wound? Somebody who is finding it very difficult to have a partner in life, or maybe finding it very difficult to maintain a steady relationship, or someone having a tough time with a spouse, beyond the obvious of just having a broken relationship with a mother. Our relationship with our children are very much guided by the kind of relationship we've had with the mother. Also, the mother is synonymous for a lot of things in our life. Our inner world, the connections that we make in the world, the relationship that we have with ourselves. So let's say if somebody has an extremely self-critical and a negative self-talk, time to tap into check in what's happening with the mother there. Or if if you have a very, you don't have a good or a positive self-image, that's
Hmm.
again a place to kind of look into the mother wound. It's also synonymous with a lot of physical ailments as well at times. Anything that happens in this region of the head is
Huh.
synonymous with the mother again.
Oh.
Stuff to do with our autoimmune system, again, it's about the mother. So if you're kind of having any kind of heavy physiological or physical symptoms or issues in life,
Hmm.
it's me again tapping into the mother.
Ah.
And then again, I'm just looking at it through all the different pillars of our life. And
Hmm.
uh, today, our success, money, all this is again related to the mother, because just as a mother nourishes us, our the monies that we receive through the world also nourish us in a way. And if that's kind of, if you feel that you're not earning, you don't get what you deserve, or
Hmm.
you don't get the attention that you deserve, or
Hmm.
you're not being pampered enough, all this is again pointing to the mother wound.
My goodness.
So yeah, so it's actually a very wide open arena that we are talking about. So while relationships is something you can directly tap into,
Hmm.
but it's the mother has her influence in every sphere of our life, so as to say.
That's really interesting. Tell me, Revati, a little bit more about, you mentioned, that our relationship with ourself stems from our relationship with our mom. How does that? How does that? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So there is a point of time when we are conceived,
Hmm.
we are living inside the mother's body. So
Okay.
we are a part of her. And because we begin our journey in her womb
Hmm.
so intimately within her body, so for a good few years of our life, we generally approximate as 6 to 7 years, we are almost synonymous with the mother. We feel what the mother feels. So if
Okay.
she's upset, we grow up feeling upset. So if somebody's mother has been under deep depression during the growing up years, the
Hmm.
child feels depressive. And there is no reason as to why the child is feeling that way. It's just
Hmm.
simply because the mother feels that way. Also, if you just tap back into the early childhood, a child kind of gets their sense of identity and presence by the way the mother acknowledges the child.
Hmm.
So it's almost like you don't have your own identity. When she looks at you and
Hmm.
she sees you as the most significant or the most important person in the world, that's
Yeah.
how you get your sense of significance in this world as well. So
That's,
because we begin our journey so intimately with her, that's
yeah.
why we are synonymous with the mother in so many ways.
That's interesting. Um, so I can see that. I can see that correlation now, Revati, the way you explain it. I don't know how, if I'm not getting along with my husband, or if I want more loving relationship from my husband, how is that related to my mother?
Okay. So because our journey with the mother is so intimate,
Hmm.
intimacy, let's say, is the second name for the mother, because she is the most intimate person for us through our lives. Because not just we come from her, but she also feeds her, she gives her body to us, and she touches us, is that's when we have a recognition with ourselves. So now look at mother and intimacy as two sides of the same coin.
Hmm.
Now when we grow up in our lives, what happens is, who's the person who then becomes intimate in our lives? Our partner, our
Yeah.
spouses,
Yeah.
right? And so it's exactly the same thing here. So what really literally ends up happening is, whatever the limitations that we faced with our mother, we
Hmm.
experience the same limitations with the partner. So if you've experienced a very critical mother, you might experience a very critical partner. Or if someone has a mother who's not been physically very engaging in a lot of positive touch there, this becomes an issue with the partner as well. So the partner is actually an extension of the mother, but in order to have a healthy relationship with the partner,
Hmm.
we need to learn to take in our mother completely, which means we need to heal with her first. Otherwise, we'll spend our entire lives maybe not knowing we have a mother wound, but we'll definitely have a lot of partner issues there.
Okay. Okay. I have a question from our audience, Revati. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Zeta is asking, when there are two children, where there are two children, uh,
Mhm.
why would only one of them take on the, let's say, the depressive persona of the mother?
Mhm. That's really a very good question. But so for this, normally I would need to take a little bit more intake. So I'll kind of make it a little general right now.
Okay.
It's just sometimes I'll give you an example here that, when I'm working with clients, somebody says, it's exactly the same question that, why is it that I am taking on this from my mother,
Hmm.
or I am taking on all these difficulties?
Hmm.
Because it might just be possible that when the other sibling is born, maybe the pregnancy might have been a little more comfortable for the mother. Or maybe she might have been in a better space to connect with the child. Or maybe her circumstances might have been just more conducive for her to build up the bond with with the child. See, no woman is born with a blueprint about how to be a mother. She learns on the go.
Hmm.
So, which is why the nurture can be different for either of the children. Also, there is something here which I kind of, I do love the logical left brain process a lot. So this is one place I will give a disclaimer. There is no scientific way to tell us why is it that one child takes up the depressive tendency while the other does not. Sometimes it's just that the whole family system or the nurture is such that maybe one child is just a little bit more blessed. It's like I said, it's completely unscientific, and we just learn to take that in as much as we can. But
Hmm.
on a positive note, the child who takes on the depressive or the feelings of the mother
Hmm.
probably feels closer and more intimate with her,
Ah.
or wants or is seeking more intimacy with her, which
Hmm.
is why that child takes in this the feelings of the mother in this way.
Hmm. So I have another. There's a follow-on question, and it's quite interesting. That's why I'm taking it right now. Zeta's asking, what if you're closer and you identify with your father more than your mother?
Okay, so now this is
Your
another part
father's a
of.
more central figure of your life than your mother.
Well, each of the parents give us certain strengths, okay, but for the same sex, because we are talking to women here, and
Hmm.
for women, they need to stand closer to the mother once they cross their puberty and they become young adults, because she's the one from whom you take on your femininity and your feminine expression of the world, which is your intimacy, softness, vulnerability, ability to talk to men in a softer way, and the whole, so in order to be the true expression of yourself, it's still the mother by your side. If somebody is closer to the father, well, I would just wonder what is happening in the distance between the child or
Hmm.
this person and the mother. It's perfectly great to be close to the father,
Hmm.
but the mother is the key one for us to take on our femininity after we've grown up.
So
And
that's
this again, so just a very small continuation, because a
right.
father's daughter has certain symptoms where there is the ability to take on men in a certain way, and men can end up seeing the woman as more like a buddy, or it's not about her being masculine in that sense, but the energy that she exudes is more of a masculine energy at a soul level.
Okay. Okay. I hope Zeta that some of that resonated with you. That's really interesting, Revati, that you mentioned about taking on the femininity
Mm-hmm.
and connecting to ourselves as women,
Mm-hmm.
connecting to the woman aspect of ourselves. Uh,
Right.
I remember asking you this question earlier, saying that what if you don't connect? What if you
Mm-hmm.
are a bit more masculine in your life? Is there it?
Okay. So at the outside, I would say this: it's not about the right or wrong.
Hmm.
You can live your life with a little bit more of a masculinity at, you know, at a soul level, it
Hmm.
will still give you certain strengths. But I will go back to the connection of our femininity and the expression as a woman here.
Hmm.
See, unless and until we don't express ourselves the way we are meant to be, we end up feeling incomplete. And that's what a woman is all about. So if we don't connect to our femininity, then some of the following things might happen. That, you know, when you become a mother, you don't
Hmm.
know exactly how to nurture the child as a mother. You can be action oriented, but can you give the child what a mother really gives? That's one aspect.
Which is
If you have, which is the nurturing aspect.
okay.
Because what happens is a father kind of helps you how to behave in the outside world, in the external world. But
Hmm.
the mother teaches you of the internal world, your own inner world. How do you talk to yourself? How important do you feel yourself to be? Do you think you deserve things in life? Because when you see your mother showering love on you, that's when you start growing your own deservingness. Or how intimately can you talk to people? Because relationships are about intimacy and how well you can talk to people. How can you show your vulnerability? How can you take on difficult conversations? You know, that's what a mother can do, right?
Yeah,
If she has
true.
to
That's true.
yeah, so, you know, children go to the mother, like, you know, can you please tell the dad that, you know, I would like a new bag, or I would like a new doll, or, you know, whatever else that I would want. I want to go
That's
out
the
with.
truth. Moms always know how to put it.
Exactly. And so she gets things done for you, and she's also the one who connects people in the family.
Hmm.
So holds a family together. So
Hmm.
when you grow up to be able to have this ability to grow things around you, you need to be in touch with your femininity there.
Ah.
Also, sometimes money also has a feminine energy
I was just going to
because
actually ask you, how are money issues linked to our femininity?
yeah. So what happens here is, so I'll go back to the point as to how a mother nourishes us. See,
Hmm.
a father brings in a traditional sense, you know, in a very traditional conventional family, the
Hmm.
father brings all the bread and butter, but the one who cooks it and makes it nourishing for you is the mother. And it's the same thing with money, because in today's world, we are no longer living in the jungles where you can, you know, just pluck off an apple and eat it off the, you know, just eat off things off the tree.
Hmm.
You need money energies to kind of to sustain life. So now what happens is, who's the first person ever in this world who sustained you? The
Hmm.
mother sustained you in her womb for 9 months, and she carried you there. So the ability to sustain life comes from the mother, which is similar to our requirement of money today.
Ah, okay.
That's how she's so closely linked. Also, today, Ruchira, money is not just for money's sake. I mean, you could have somebody who has everything under the world, but they would still want to do something to kind of, you know, to actualize their higher potential.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, in that sense, money also gives you contentment and fulfillment. Because in today's world, I cannot say that, hey, you know what, at my job, I am doing the most fantastic job, and you give me, you know, accolades and prizes and appreciation, and I'll be happy. I
Hmm.
want the money's worth that I give. That's when I feel satisfied in my heart. So that's again correlated to the deservingness that we have of our lives. And again, who's the first person who made us feel deserving? It's the mother.
Mother.
The
Hmm.
way she looks at us like you're the best thing in the whole world and you're the center of my world. I think that's from where we gather our deservingness in this world.
So you're talking about a really interesting modality today, Revati, family constellations. How do we understand it? What is it?
Okay, so
And how does it connect with all of this? How does it help us heal our mother wounds?
okay, so family constellation. So you know, it's something which is very existential in nature. So even before the word family constellations was coined, you could go back and study all the mythologies of the world, and you will still find, you know, the same principles of family constellations operative there. I mean, just to say that, you know, just because Newton discovered gravity,
Yeah.
It's not that gravity didn't exist, it was always there. There was somebody who gave a name to it. And that's exactly the case with family constellations. So, what this work does for us is that, we all have an inner intrinsic picture of ourselves, which is very largely subconscious to us. It's
Hmm.
like there is something since the moment we are born, it's imprinted on us.
Hmm.
This is a subconscious, unconscious imprint. So now what we do is through this work, we
Hmm.
kind of make the subconscious picture conscious and visible to us, observable.
Okay.
And then once we are able to see things, see a lot of times challenges, the problem in the world is, the biggest answer is the question that you don't know anything about. So here, so rather from staying in the completely unknown, can't see, can't understand zone, one
Hmm.
is now actually able to put a finger on things. Hey, this is what it is about.
Hmm.
And once you are able to see and put a finger on things, the solution is not far away. So now what we do is this work is actually very intensive, and even as a study, it's a very intensive work as such. So what we are now doing here is that whatever picture that emerges out, we
Hmm.
kind of look at it through the lens of the family system. It's again like, okay, if you want to study a challenge, or you want to research something, a challenge or whatever that you're going through in your life,
Hmm.
let's say something which is to do with a corporate, an XYZ project.
Yeah.
Now the first thing what is done is that you do research in the history.
Hmm.
We stand today, even as a country, we need to see what is the history, what has gone in it, to
Hmm.
make country what it is. And that goes for every individual as well. So what we now do is we look at the family dynamics and what is the past history of this family, and are there any key incidences in this family, any key traumas embedded in this family, or what is the history of this family in terms of relationships, what is the history of this family in terms of success or money. And so, it's, or has anybody passed away very early.
Hmm.
See, eventually in life, success and failure is to live or to die. It's as basic as that. And
Okay.
so we now bring in a systemic lens to see what is the past, and we put the two together. This is how we kind of find solutions to the present day problems, even if they seem mundane to us as a career goal. But yet,
Hmm.
when you view it through this kind of systemic lens, you are
Hmm.
kind of able to complete a picture. It's like, out of the puzzle, if one piece goes missing, the picture is incomplete. And so that's what we do through this work is we complete the family picture here. It's like parts of our soul go missing, and that's when we complete and we become concise and whole as a person.
So, Revati, you mentioned their family constellations have always been there.
Yeah.
You said, even in mythology, you've seen evidence of that.
Yes.
Can you give us an example of how this plays out?
Okay, so there are many stories across all different mythologies, but because this is, we just had the 10 days of Ganesh happening. So let's
Yeah.
talk about Ganesh here.
Okay.
So if you see how is he conceptualized and how is he born? He
Hmm.
is born out of his mother's desire. The story goes that when she's bathing, she doesn't want to be disturbed by anyone. She wants her private quarters the way that they are.
Hmm.
And because Shiv keeps going out on his journeys, she feels the need to have somebody come and protect her and, look after, to defend her private quarters.
Hmm.
So if you see, technically, that's the job of a man. But
Yeah.
now, because he is not available, she creates something out of clay and it takes birth and it becomes Ganesh. So he is born only out of his mother.
Okay.
And he does the job that the mother's husband should be doing. Okay. So
Okay.
now what happens is when the real husband, the father, actually shows up at the doorstep, you can see how the child is so full of ego. And while he's strong and he's beautiful and he has all the qualities, but yet the father has to cut his head to kind of separate him from his ego.
Ah. Okay.
And so when the father separates the head, he replaces it with a head which is far larger than the original one. And that's how he becomes our beloved God. And that's what it said, that the whole universe resides inside him. So
Ah.
now, from a boy with special qualities, he has now grown into the so loved God who kind of sustains the whole universe inside him.
Hmm.
This is the movement for the boy of coming of age, the
Ah.
movement from the mother to the father. I
Hmm.
know we are talking about the mother wound, but this is, in this story, just as a girl goes to the mother,
Hmm.
when she grows up, a boy needs to go to the father.
To grow up. Ah. Okay.
Exactly. That's what makes him a man. And our mothers are what make us women.
So, what happens in the process of a family constellation? Do you think? How does
Okay.
it go through? Shall we do a demonstration and show it, or would you like to explain it first?
Maybe I'll just talk about it very briefly,
Yeah.
and then we kind of jump into the demo, because no amount of words can really help you to understand what family constellations really are.
Hmm.
So, I mean, because so when we do the process in a group in person,
Hmm.
what we basically start. So this is a work where we don't go too intense into taking the detailed case taking, or this is not a fact finding mission here. So
Okay.
we do a very brief understanding of what is the issue here for the client, and
Hmm.
then we ask complete unknown people, complete strangers, to stand in for people in their lives. Like somebody stands in for the mother, for the father, somebody stands in for the client,
But how will they even
and who.
respond?
So what happens now is there is something higher that takes over, because this work, though it has its roots in psychotherapeutic techniques, but it's also a very deeply spiritual process at the end. That's what it is eventually. And
Hmm.
so complete strangers, we do not know how exactly it happens, but complete strangers are able to tell you nuances about your life to a great detail. Not just that, complete strangers start behaving and acting and using words which are very similar to the client's family. I mean, I've seen sessions where somebody who stood in for the client's father collapsed in front of everybody in just like a moment. And we were puzzled. And the client says, when I was a child, I saw my father die exactly like that in front of me. He shook 2 times and he collapsed on the floor.
My
Or
goodness.
someone says that, the representative of the mother will tell you, oh, I have a knee pain on the left knee pain. And that's exactly what sometimes the mother has. Or, for example, the client says, oh, this person who's standing in for me is dressed exactly like me and looks exactly like me when I was a teenager. So we,
Oh.
and it's a beautiful process, because it is now getting enacted outside of you. You
Hmm.
have a chance to see clearly what happens. And then people just turn around and ask, like, there was one client who would say, do I really keep looking bored like this all the time, or am I so fidgety most of the times? Or and it's like a beautiful reality check in a very gentle and a very soft way. uh,
So someone else plays your part as well, is
yes,
it?
yes, yes.
Hmm.
Yes, and it's like a live unscripted theater. So
My.
everybody is involved,
Hmm.
and all the representatives also have a beautiful takeaway at the end of it, because they are there not by chance. There is something higher that calls you for a constellation, and so are all the observers. Everybody is deeply moved. So if you see a constellation happening in front of you and you are not participating in it and you are just observing, 9 out of 10 chances you will also find something very strong resonating with you there.
Ah.
And I think as we will try it out, the process works magically beautifully on online as well.
I was just going to ask that how is this possible even on is it possible even on an online in an online setting, or do we have to be physically in the room?
No, it happens wonderfully online as well. And just as a word, the process also can happen on a one-to-one.
Hmm.
Because there are certain things where people want a more intimate one-to-one setting,
Hmm.
and that serves you wonderfully as well, because now you are able to look at a lot of intrapersonal things rather than interrelationship ones.
What's the
So,
difference, Revati, between intra and inter?
so what this means is through an through a one-to-one constellation, I
Hmm.
not just observe what is happening to people around me, but I can almost dissect what is happening within me as well. You
Okay.
know, which means that, where are my thoughts locked up, or where are my feelings, how am I behaving, where am I lost in love.
Okay.
So all these intrapersonal things are also something that comes to light. Plus, a person gets to understand firsthand how the father, mother, or other people in their life, how they are connecting with the family system. So it's a very intimate part there.
Hmm.
But I must say, online is very intense, because it's almost like the whole, we call it as the field or the matrix where we place the constellation. This is the word that we technically use. But
Okay.
in online, this becomes highly intensified. So my experience so far has been that I've been doing online work since the past 4 5 years.
Hmm.
uh, I have observed that what probably we would require like 90 minutes for, or 2 hours for an in-person session,
Hmm.
online maybe sometimes just takes less than 60 minutes. It's so intense.
Wow. That's fantastic. Okay. I have a couple of questions before we go in, Revati. So,
Mhm.
Bharti's asking, to what depth can the solution be traced? Can it go to the genealogical level? As your family, especially all maternal cousins, are all into, let's say, depression, a
Okay.
kind of I'm not able to understand this clearly. A kind of love dead widows, no issue, but
Okay.
intelligent, well cultured. Some with ADHS children.
Okay. So I gather that what she's mentioning is that there is an issue with the maternal cousins.
Yeah, I think so. And there's
Yeah.
cases of depression and
So normally what happens is, in this case, what I would say, maternal cousins means linked through the mother. And whenever there is something so heavy which is happening, see, the family history is going to remain the same. Maternal cousins means their mother would be, or your uncle or aunt would be sharing the same parents as your mother would be. So
yeah,
yes, it's happening within the same family tree. So this is something that you could try exploring,
okay,
and it is something that affects your family tree as well.
okay.
So I'm not exactly sure what was the context of the question here, but I
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm not very sure either. But I just want to quickly connect back. You mentioned earlier in the call, Revati, that if you have autoimmune issues, if you have migraine issues, things like that, um, it's highly possible that it's related to mother wounds.
yeah.
Now, if I go through this process and I heal those wounds, does it
Mhm.
mean that those issues would go away or do they lessen? What happens?
Okay, now this is one part that there is no perfect algorithm here, to be very honest. Okay, but however, this has been my experience. There are some unique cases where after a constellation,
Hmm.
he says that my issues have disappeared off. I've seen somebody just kick off the cigarette in just one session. I mean,
Wow.
after one session, though the journey has been a number of sessions, but at the end of one particular pivotal session, she
Hmm.
turns around and says, "This is enough. I don't want to smoke anymore." Or I had somebody who had a symptom where the eyes would keep watering,
Hmm.
and this was the first session that this lady did, and the eyes stopped watering after that. So
Wow.
there, or somebody just suddenly says that my relationship with my partner was blocked, and I
Hmm.
just started dating this guy, and we are doing good together. So sometimes it happens at the end of one session, but
Hmm.
however, for the vast majority, I have seen it's also gradual. So what happens is, right after the see, this process is very subtle process, where we don't impose my content or my version of things. We allow the client to discover things for themselves. So now what
Hmm.
happens is, typically after the constellation, most people like have 100 questions. And then,
All right.
and I know in the interest of the process, because I don't want the process to be, because there is something at a deeper soul level that is getting stirred here. And
Hmm.
if I want to waste my energy talking about it, I'm not making the right use of my energy. As the founder of this therapy, Bert Hellinger, has said, you'd rather use that energy to nudge your and push your soul in the right direction to heal.
Okay.
So the first thing is what we do is we resist as much as possible the urge to analyze and ask too many questions.
Okay.
And then after that, when the client is left in their own space, and
Hmm.
sometimes people go through confusion and then they start seeing light. Sometimes they see light immediately, but then the symptoms start no longer remain that intense. So what was like a 10 on 10, and then
Hmm.
people come back and say, it doesn't bother me anymore. But
Hmm.
the more important part is the healing journey has been set into place.
Okay. I'd love to hear some experiences that you've had. Revati will come back to that. Let's first take the group through the exercise.
Oh yes.
But I am curious to know what are the successes that you've had? What are the experiences you've had with this modality? We'll come back to that.
Yes. Yes.
So, how would you like to do this?
Okay, so what I would ask your help here, Ruchira. So
Hmm.
I would invite somebody from the group. So okay, so before I begin here, I would request everybody here that it's utmost important that we maintain confidentiality here.
Of
Okay,
course.
and even if somebody listens to the call later on, it's my urge to every single person to just keep the confidentiality here, which means that whatever happens, keep it only personal to yourself. And the second thing is, please take care of yourself. So at any point of time, if somebody feels it's too intense, because we are doing online work and this is not one-to-one work here. So if you should find something too intense, take a step back, cross your hands, just sit back, relax, and just observe is what I would recommend. So take care of yourself.
So, Revati,
And
cross your hands, meaning like I just do this.
yeah,
If
just
I'm
cross your
feeling a little
hands.
uncomfortable, I just sit back and I
Yes.
do this. Is it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, the idea here is that you just kind of cover your navel so that you are not too attached to anything here, but
Ah,
you're still open to kind of receive from the whole process. The
okay.
receiving is not going to get blocked here. That's what I mean here.
Okay.
And yes, please feel free to feel whatever that you feel here, because the whole group is in it together. uh, so now I would request somebody to share, maybe someone to volunteer as a client here,
Okay.
who has something that they would like to explore. These are the words that I use, because I don't say there is a definite solution to everything, but who would like to explore something particularly to do with the topic today.
Okay. We have okay, we have Tejal.
Okay.
He says my anger comes out only with my mother. Tejal, my mother would also probably say that about me. With everyone else, I'm absolutely calm all the time. I get triggered only with her. So,
Okay.
would you like to go through this process? And we'll. Do we need to unmute Tejal
Yes,
Revati?
I would
Okay.
love to hear her.
So I'm just going to. Tejal, can you unmute? There we go.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hello, Revati. Hello,
Hi, Tejal.
Ruchira.
Hi. Can I see Tejal?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Hi, Tejal.
Yes. Good to see you. Yes.
Hey,
Yes. So Tejal, okay. So tell me, Tejal, I think it's very interesting what you talked about here.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit, what is it that you wish to explore here today in your words?
Okay, so I have done pretty much a lot of work, and it's really much better now. But still, there is something. This is the only thing that I feel in my life that needs to be worked upon. So I always believe, because I've heard that and I've also felt that
Mm-hmm.
I was an unwanted child, so accidental child kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Child, not
Tejal,
planned. Yeah.
okay. May I request you, what we'll do is, as and when it is required, I will tap back and ask you these questions.
All right.
Okay? Because
Yep.
what happens is, when we're doing the work as a group, let's not give too much inputs to everyone, otherwise their minds will start operating.
Sure.
And at every point of time in between, I will stay connected with you and I will keep asking you questions. Okay?
Okay.
So what is it that you would like to explore? And a lot of these things will automatically come out through the we let the work talk for itself. Because you just said that you've already gone through a lot of healing work. So let's see
Yeah.
how much and what is the impact here. Okay? So tell me, what is it that you would like to explore about this? Is it uh, in your words, how would you say this?
Uh, so what I would choose to have in my life is, in spite of having all the understanding that whatever I felt, why I felt, and what she went through, and why, what happened,
Okay, okay.
But still, there is something that irritates me, or something that just wants me to change her. And sometimes, I mean, I'm just not. I always wonder that how come, I'm absolutely calm with everybody, but with her, my anger is on 100 level. You know, it's like it
Got
just
it.
triggers. But we are very close also.
Yes.
There's immense love for each other, but
Okay.
this, it's like a cracker that keeps bursting on and off.
Okay. Okay. I hear you there. Okay. So
Yeah.
we'll begin here. Okay. So what I'm going to ask, I'm going to request is I'm going to ask people from the group to represent people in your life. Okay. And
Okay.
I will give out an open invitation to people. And Ruchira, if you could just help me, because I can't see everybody at the same
Yeah, of
time here.
course. I can
Uh,
unmute a bunch of
yeah.
people, actually, Revati.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I would like somebody. So, what I'll do is I'll be giving stepwise, I'll be giving stepwise instructions to everyone. So, you can just be relaxed and, I'll guide you through the whole process. So, I need somebody who can stand in for Tejal's mother. I need somebody who volunteers.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, could I have Garima?
Okay. Okay. And Ruchira, when you pick up somebody, just follow your inner gut here. This is
Okay.
again a very womanly quality here. So just follow your gut when you say, I would like, uh, it's Garima.
Okay. I'm
Okay,
trying to find Garima to unmute
okay,
now.
okay, okay. So great, Garima. Okay, Garima, you're standing in for Tejal here, for Tejal's mother here. Mhm. And I would like somebody to stand in for Tejal.
Okay. Can I have Laura? Laura stand in for, um, I'm just going to ask to unmute.
Okay, so
Laura, will you stand in for Tejo?
Hi.
Hi.
yes. Awesome. Thank you, Laura. So, for the representatives, if you don't feel called for it, you can always let us know and you can step out. So now, from now on, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to address Laura as Laura or Garima as Garima. From now on, it will be Tejal and Tejal's mother here.
Okay. Revati, I just want to
Okay.
check if Garima can hear us. Garima, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. All right.
Awesome. Okay.
Am I audible?
Okay. So for a moment here, yes, you're audible.
And Laura, can you
Okay.
hear us?
I
Yes.
will ask.
Okay, great.
Okay. And now from the next few moments onward, I will request everybody to just settle down and sit in a place. And this is a moment on. Yes. I would request everyone also to kind of avoid sipping water or moving around, because now let's stay in this energy here, because this is of something of great importance to Tejal that we do this process here. And okay. Okay, so now I'm going to ask Tejal in the constellation and Tejal's mother to just take your attention to each other. So just online, just take a look at each other and take a few deep breaths. Okay. And I'm going to take my attention to Tejal in the constellation and tell me, how are you feeling right now? Okay, I will check in with Laura, who's standing in for Tejal. Could you tell us, how are you feeling right now?
Good. I just keep feeling so much why, like trying to find a way, like find a spot within me.
I'm trying to find a spot within me. Okay. And what happens when you take a look at the mother here? When you take your attention to her, how does it feel? You can keep your eyes open. I would request everybody to keep your eyes open here.
It feels like a lot of electricity trying to get in.
It feels like a lot of electricity trying to get in. Okay,
Like,
thank you. Okay, I think I lost her there, but I will just go on to Tejal's mother in the constellation. How does it feel for you here right now?
Looking at Tejal, there's a little heaviness in the eyes.
Looking at Tejal, there's a little heaviness in the eyes. Okay.
And the feeling is there's the presence of hurdle.
Could you please repeat that?
He represents a hurdle.
The presence of a burden. Okay.
No,
Okay, got that.
represents a hurdle.
Represents a hurdle. Okay, got that. Okay. Okay, so now this is a point where I'm going to ask for one more person to stand in to represent. And I will ask somebody to stand in for the past here. Because I heard Tejal use the word, when we were speaking, the word past. So can somebody represent the past here?
Yeah, could I have Sharmishta? Sharmishta, can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Sharmishta, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you all hear me?
Okay.
Could you be a little
Yes.
louder?
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Sharmishta. So Sharmishta, just
Okay,
please find your way in this constellation as the past. Just connect to the energy of the past. And tell me visually, between Tejal and Tejal's mother, where do you feel you're standing?
I feel like a big, fat, bald, fat-bellied, pot-bellied monster, like a huge human being in between.
I feel like a huge human being, a big, fat, bald, pot-bellied monster. Okay. And where is your attention?
On Garima,
Who are you looking at?
the daughter.
I am looking at Tejal's mother. Okay. Sorry, you're looking at the daughter. At Tejal?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm laughing.
And yes. And for the one who stands, and I'm laughing. Okay. I'm going to ask Tejal here, how do you feel? Tejal's representative, how do you feel when this past appears in this way? Laughing, big, fat, bald, pot-bellied monster. Laura, when you're standing in for Tejal, are you able to hear the past speak?
yes.
Okay, and how do you feel when the past speaks that it's looking at you and it
Very,
looks like a big, fat, bald, pot-bellied monster?
It's rather complex.
Okay. Ruchira, I lost her there. Could you repeat if you could hear what was spoken?
I couldn't hear either, Laura.
A very intense, like
Okay.
punch.
Yes.
A very intense punch.
Yes, like when somebody punch you on your
A
solar
very
plexus.
intense
Yeah,
A very intense punch.
that feels like a punch. Okay. 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 So far great. I'm going to first check in with Tejal, the client here. Okay. Tejal, how are you doing right now when all this is progressing?
I'm a little uneasy. It's like I'm
Uh-huh.
divided into two. A part of me is uneasy, and a part of me is an observer, very calm.
Is an observer very calm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And is there anything that correlate about the past that was spoken there?
uh, yeah, I feel. Sorry, can you just explain your question again?
I said when the past spoke, whatever was spoken, does that resonate with you in any way? Does that make any sense to you or ring a bell in any way?
Uh, no, I couldn't understand why did the past say that it is laughing. I couldn't figure
Okay.
that out. But
Okay.
I could feel
Okay.
what Laura said, the punch. I felt like punching the past.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That I understand that. I felt like punching the past. Okay. And I'm going to ask Tejal's mother, Garima, who's standing in for Tejal's mother. How are you doing right now when the past spoke?
Revati, I think Garima might have gotten disconnected for a second. I'm just going to quickly check.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we may have just gotten
Okay.
disconnected.
Okay. So I'll just take my attention to the one who's standing in for the past year. Uh, how are you feeling here right now, Sharmista, as the past?
Sharmishta, just unmute yourself.
Me now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Sharmista, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so when she said that I am feeling, I really don't understand why is the past laughing at me. Somewhere around that time, I was feeling sad and I sat down. I sat.
I sat down.
Yes, I sat down and I started feeling sad.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm still feeling
Okay.
sad.
And I'm still feeling sad.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
And helpless now.
Sad and helpless now. Okay.
Now.
Yes. Okay.
Revati, we have Garima back.
Yes. Garima, if you can unmute yourself. Okay. Okay. So,
May I say something?
yes, please say. Yes.
The big pot belly monster. Then there
Yes.
was humiliation, helplessness, and anger. It was a mixed emotion of
Uh-huh.
feeling humiliated, angry, and helpless.
It was a mixed emotion of feeling humiliated, angry, and
Helpless.
Helpless.
Yeah.
Helpless. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Tejal. Tejal, I will ask in, is this something that to do with your mother here? Feeling humiliated, angry, helpless?
Absolutely. I would not say, I mean, my mother is generally the type who does not expresses her anger, but she does say that she feels humiliated when we have a conflict.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And helplessness,
So
she
now
does feel helpless as well.
she does feel helpless as well. Okay. So I'm very mindful of the time that we have over here, because this we are already looking at something which the mother is actually experiencing in her life. And now you can see as to how it is still operating so strongly. So what I would do here is for the past, the one who stands in for the past, Sharmishta, to please look at Garima, the one who's standing in for Tejal's mother, and look at her and say, I am your past. Can you say those words to her?
Yes. I am your past.
Okay.
I am.
And how is it for the mother to? Yes. And how is it for the mother to hear this?
I mean, the minute she says, I am your past, I just want to tell her, you're saying this doesn't help.
You're saying this doesn't help. Okay. So now we can very clearly see that the mother is going through something very intense here. Okay. And
Can I
so
say
for the
something?
purpose of this constellation here, yes,
I'm feeling very angry when she said that.
I'm feeling very angry when she says this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask somebody else to just step in into the constellation as somebody who's a resource for the mother, someone who can, just as a resource here.
Okay.
A resource can be anything, like an elder in the family or the mother's mother. It could be anything. Someone who can help the mother here.
I'm going to unmute Urvi. Urvi, would you like to join this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Urvi, what you're going to do is in your heart, you are going to imagine like you're touching the mother and you're holding her back like this. You're supporting her with your hands. Okay.
Okay.
And you just keep holding that inner posture. And the one, Garima, when you're standing in for the as the mother, please relax back and allow yourself to feel supported here. Okay. And Tejal,
There's a lot of repulsive feeling.
Tej,
There's a lot of repulsive feeling. It's
yes,
like, I don't want that support because
I,
when it was not given and it's too late now.
when it was, it's too late now. Okay. So I want you to look at Tejal in the constellation, and I want you to look at the client Tejal as well, and you look at them, both of them, one at a time, and you tell them, this is something that has got to do with me. Can you say those words?
I don't want to connect. It's like that.
I do.
Looking at
It's
Tejal,
like that. Okay.
looking at Tejal, the real Tejal, it's like,
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. I am losing you there. Okay. But we can all remain exactly in our place. I will go to Tejal. Tejal, can
Yeah.
you hear me? Okay. So now you have a very deep picture which has emerged out. This is the extent to the helplessness of your mother.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, you understand that perfectly? Okay.
Yes.
So what I would like you to do is I would like you to look at the past, which is so heavy, which is connected to your mother. Okay,
Yes.
I have something
and you
more.
can, okay, and I want you to, Tejal, to look at, yes, Garima, we'll just wait out here. Okay, we'll just wait out here. And Tejal, you look at your mother, and from your heart, it's almost like you bow down to her and you tell her, I understand how heavy this is for you. Okay,
Yes.
and you also tell her in your heart, I understand how difficult this is for you.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And you look at, and in your heart, you look at your mother and her past. And I would request you not to cover your eyes right now, please.
Okay.
And keep your eyes open here, because this is a very pivotal moment for you here. And in your heart, make a deep bow to your mother and the heavy past that she carries. Just a deep bow here. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. And I will ask all the people who are representing in the constellation right now to just shake themselves a little bit and step out of the roles. Garima? Yes. Just shake a little, change your position. Yes. Okay. And all of you in your heart, look at Tejal, the one who stood in for the past, Tejal and Tejal's mother. Look at Tejal and let whatever are the energies that belong to her and her system, let it flow back to her. Okay? Okay, fantastic. Sharmishta, how are you? Are you feeling all right now?
Yeah, yeah. I have
Superb.
deposited everything back, and I'm
Laura,
back to being Sharmishta.
superb. Great. Laura, how are you doing right now?
I'm doing good. It's funny
Superb.
because
Thank you. Garima,
like
sir.
it's funny because at the like move my posture and shake a little bit. I feel like some acid
Uh-huh.
came out of my mouth.
Yes. And Garima, are you all right?
I have a little pain in the right ear, which is just suddenly come.
Okay. Okay. And just shake yourself out of it. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So that is how a typical constellation happens. And let me just check in with Tejal right now. How are you doing right now, Tejal?
Just very emotional right now.
And I
Uh,
will ask you to just stay in that space. Okay. I will ask you to stay in that space. Okay.
yeah.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
as soon as you got both of them together and allowed for the
Uh-huh.
support to happen, I instantly
Mm-hmm.
felt my role was over and I had nothing, I had no place in that space.
Okay.
Happened
Okay.
instantly.
Great. 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 Thank you so much for that sharing.
Thank
Okay. Okay. So I know it's a very tempting moment for me to make Tejal speak a lot right now. But even though if this is a demonstration, but something very intense and important is moving through her. And I would not want her to step out of it. I would rather let it work its magic through her within. Okay? So, Tejal, you're free to stay in that space as long as you want to. Okay?
Yeah, I would like to express my gratitude to Laura, Sharmishta, and Garima for being the conduit over here for me. I'm extremely grateful, and to you, Revati, as well. A lot of realizations whenever I work on this, lot of realizations. It's like peeling the layer one after the other keeps popping up. Today, a very important layer has also come to my realization. So and Ruchira, I can't thank you enough for choosing me here. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Over to you, Ruchira. If I
Well,
would ask,
actually, I'd love to have a couple of, I'd love to talk to a couple of the people who participated in this, and see if there are some insights that they drew from the exercise, which connect to their own what they had, the issues that they had. Can we ask? Revati, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you clearly.
I was just saying, should we ask
Yes,
Laura, should we ask Orvi if in the process that did they receive some insights into their own problems with this process?
yes, yes, yes,
Laura?
definitely. So the forum is actually open to everyone to speak. If anyone, even as an observer or as a representative, if you receive something.
Laura, would you like to share if
Sure.
yeah?
But what would you guys? Do you just want to know, like, how did I connect with that,
Yeah.
with her?
And did you get some insight into your own life and your
I did.
relationship with your mother
I,
through?
I am an orphan. I didn't have a mother, and then I could
Uh-huh.
totally connect with her, and then maybe that's why
Yes,
the punch in my solar plexus.
Ah,
yes, right.
Yeah, because my mother tried to kill me when she was pregnant, and then I born 6 months after she was pregnant, and then she threw me away. So yeah, there is a lot. I could sense so much energy, but especially the solar
And then,
plexus punch. You know, when someone
yes,
tries to
yes,
get rid of you, try to kill you. You see
yes.
what I mean?
mm.
And that's what you
So,
felt. Yes,
but
I
she's gonna be
understand
fine.
that. And
She's gonna be fine.
yes, and Laura, I would ask, yes, and I would ask you to also look at what the mother in this constellation was going through and just that.
So much pain. I could feel so much pain in the mother. So much pain and shame
Exactly.
because minor.
And humiliation. And humiliation. The words were humiliation and helplessness.
That's quite remarkable. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Laura. Thank you for sharing that.
I, I enjoyed this
Thank you.
meeting,
Thank you.
but I love you guys all, and then have a blessed day.
Thank
Thank you.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing that.
Thank
Revati, shall
thank
we
you.
talk to Urvi? Urvi joined into the process a little later in the process. So, Urvi, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi. While the process was going on, when I was added to that, I could literally feel
Hmm?
the energy like flowing inside me.
Uh-huh.
I could
Uh-huh.
feel the heaviness in my hands. I did not want
Mm-hmm.
to like take it away. And Rev, when you told Rev, sorry, Tejal to like tell something to her mother at that
Mm-hmm.
time I also felt that much emotional, and still I am in that little um, energy of that emotion. But for myself,
Okay.
what I felt through this was like I have a little issues with my husband, and what I took it from this was like I should let go of that anger or misunderstanding or whatever that differences is coming. So maybe that can resolve the problem that is between the two of us. So that is what I could realize for myself for my issues. So thank you very much,
Great.
Revati, for this
Okay.
constellation. 5 years back, I was an observant in one of these constellations, and it was like it was magical because I did never have any idea what exactly this is, and I could literally feel like later on when we were told that this was the situation and this is the thing, and I was really amazed how things work out, like how this all the
Yeah.
constellation process. It's
True. True that.
yeah, and thank you,
Yeah.
Ruchira,
The
for
process.
making me the part of it.
Oh, most welcome. I'm amazed
That's
that all of you were part of somebody else's process, and it was a tiny process in the sense today we've not done it in the same way that typically how Revati would do a
Yeah,
full.
that one is the longer one, I suppose,
Yeah,
right?
because
Yeah,
I mean, today
yeah,
we have
that's right.
time
Yeah,
constraints,
yeah,
etc. So we
right.
did a very short version of it, and already I'm amazed that you all had such profound takeaways,
True,
profound insights that can bring shift, can bring a strong change in the problem. And Orvi, that's fantastic that you brought up this thing that you came into the call talking about your relationship with your husband, and all of us have different relationships that we're talking about. We have issues with money, or we have health issues. So we've all come in from different aspects, and yet all of us have had such amazing insights and takeaways from just a tiny bit of the process,
true.
and not even where we are the center of the
Very
process.
true.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Revati and
yes.
Ruchira. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's normally how the process is. That everyone who participates or observes, or sometimes even just to get, who's is involved with the constellation has a strong takeaway there.
Hmm. That's really amazing. Thank you so much, Sharmishta. Thank you, Garima. Thank you for being part of
So
this.
much.
I'm eager to know that what are the other types of shifts that your clients have faced using family constellation, Revati?
Okay. So I'm going to just dig back into some of the cases, which I can think of hand right now.
Hmm.
Um, so, so I worked with this lady who, when she came in, so she's just about 30,
Okay.
and was very disappointed with life, and had a series of broken abusive relationships with men,
Hmm.
and not into life completely. So she was almost like kind of felt like it was the road closed for her. And when we started doing this work, uh, it was through the different sessions. So she also had, coincidentally, through the sessions, we realized she had a very dysfunctional view of her mother. She was extremely antagonistic, to the extent that she wouldn't even want to talk to the mother,
Oh.
and she felt like her mother had been burdening her since her childhood.
Hmm.
And now when we painstakingly work through different sessions, and
Hmm.
finally, we arrived at the mother. And when we worked through with what was blocking her with her mother,
Hmm.
she suddenly started getting a realization, exactly like as we experience today. She experienced what her mother has gone through in her life, and her view about her mother completely changed. And from that moment, she started taking her mother into her heart. And now what happens is, it's almost like within a week's time, she speaks to her mother and understands her more in detail. And then over a period of time, so okay, at one level she was not falling into her mother's arms like, like a child would do normally. She
Yeah.
still kind of distance with her mother, but
Hmm.
more united in the heart.
Okay.
And it was between a span of 1 to 2 months, her life started coming back on track.
Hmm.
She got rid of a dysfunctional relationship. She learned to stand up for herself. Her
Wow.
own inner image changed. So she started looking at herself with a lot more love. And she's a beautiful lady who had stopped dressing up. And then the final thing is she started dressing up like in full glory the way she would normally do. And
Oh,
what is incredible, Ruchira, is that it's been over a year and she's still stayed strong.
that's
Because she is an entrepreneur, the COVID has been very difficult for her. It's been a situation where the landlord is at her doorstep asking for rent. The situation in
hmm.
the outside world is difficult,
Hmm.
but it's amazing to see how solid she is today and so much in love with herself.
That's fantastic. That's really
That's
fantastic.
that's an example, and you'll have to tell me when to stop because I could go on here.
I do have a I see Zeta's comment actually that has come in. She was responding to the exercise that we went through. She says, I could see that there should be an unconditional acceptance of the past and present heaviness of the mother. But what about the daughter? She's left again with the guilt of something she didn't do, and is having to bear the emotional burden of the mother's past.
Okay, so now that's precisely what we are looking at here. Because the client is feeling this. So, at one level, the client is also feeling the burden of the mother,
Hmm.
and she also kind of, she's going through the same emotions that probably her mother would be going through. She's carrying forward the mother's feelings here.
Hmm.
So, when we start using sentences here, now because this was a demo, but
Hmm.
if you see that everybody else who was representing was not feeling it, but the client felt a lot more mellow in her heart. So
Hmm.
when she starts respecting the burden that her mother carries,
Hmm.
no longer carrying it on herself. When
Okay.
you carry a burden for your mother, it's a disrespect to the mother. So
Hmm.
when she bows down, it's almost the bow lets it all slip back to the mother
Okay.
because that's a part of her life.
Hmm.
And the one who carries, to whom it belongs, it makes them stronger, and
Hmm.
you are able to see them with a lot more respect. So in that sense, for the client, she's able to get her mother again.
Hmm. Oh, that's really remarkable. Uh, Ramila says, amazing session. Could connect and can understand better now.
Mm-hmm.
Revzi, I'd love to share this. We're going to run out of time. I'd love to share quickly what you're offering today and the amazing packages that you've put together. I'm just going
Okay,
to share my screen.
sure.
Uh, just one and you could take everyone through this.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the disclaimer, I look different from what I look in that picture now.
That's why I quickly switched.
Okay, so awesome. Okay, so this is the first package, and this is a process that I really love doing with women. So the sacred circle of women is about connecting back to the essence of our femininity. So as you can see, it's a three-step process. So one, you explore the relationship with your mother, and then you learn to connect back into the circle of women in your life, and then you learn to go higher. You connect to the higher forces of femininity here over and above your mother, because the mother is an earthly mother and she stands in for the divine mother as well, our divine femininity. So we learn to turn towards that. um, this is a very beautiful process by which one, as I said, can find a true expression of our femininity here. So if you're in a relationship for many years and you've been married for a long time and you want to just bring back the spark back in your relationship the way it was when it began, Because what has happened is when you spend such a long time with a man, you kind of know each other a little too well. So, in a different way, I had a friend who once told me that after 21 years of my marriage, it was a love marriage. She says, we could be brother and sister now. That's not how we want to be with our men. We want to be the spouse. So if you want to get the spark back in your relationship, or you want to enjoy receiving your man and the whole world's attention, you want to be allowed to feel cared for, to feel loved for, and you want to be pampered in your life, this is something that will really help you, because that's what it is about, coming back into our essence of a woman. And once we become a strong woman, we are in our own essence. The men will be who they are, chivalrous as they are meant to be with us. That's what I believe.
And that would be so nice. That would be so, so nice.
Yes. Also will bring in, it is also great for a mother to kind of feel a little bit more softer and mellowed towards the child.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So I'm just going to share. Again, so this is a 90 minutes group workshop, right, Revati?
Yes, it's a 90-minute workshop. It's in 3 parts altogether. So the original price of it is 9,900, and just only for the tele summit, the price that we are offering is 6,000. But for the first 10 buyers, I think in the first 24 hours, it's going to be only for 3,300.
Yeah, that's right. That's $51. Yeah. So that's 66% off, and it's this beautiful exercise, 90 minutes long, and it's amazing how, Revati, you mentioned that it explores the blocks you may have. It explores, whatever you're carrying from all the women who've been in your family that you didn't know.
Yes.
And it helps you to move on as well, within this 90
All
minutes.
And whenever I've run this process with people, I have kind of seen women glowing with femininity. So when I did this once with one, I was doing this as a part of a workshop, and one woman said that, what, we are married, but my husband doesn't have eyes for me. He goes, sits with his mother at night till 12 o'clock in the night. And when we did this process with her, you could see that, the women started glowing. And with this glow, when she stepped back into the house, it was a different story for her there.
Oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. Okay, we'll share package B as well, which is one mega, mega monster of a package.
I love the way you said it's a monster of a package, because I would call it the journey back to the feminine core. It is like a blueprint, I would say, because this is all my decade-long years of research that I've been doing with people and different sessions, and that's what I've kind of concised into these 6 themed calls. So it basically, you get to explore everything to do with your femininity, starting with your mother and you, how your relationship with your father is also affected by the way your mother talks about your father to you. So, if a woman is separated from the husband and she tells the daughter that, your father was not a great guy, that's the picture that the girl also carries in her heart. So no father, no mother also. So this is what, because this is what we would explore in the second theme call. These are all, by the way, group calls, because group work is extremely dynamic and interesting and stimulating and fulfilling. The third call is about, like, you can connect with your mother, but your mother is also seeking her mother at the same time. And unless and until this is all happening in your inner world, by the way, in your inner world, you don't see your mother united with her, you're not going to be able to move forward. So that's what we'll talk about in the third call. Now, the fourth call is your entire feminine lineage, because it's almost like every country, every culture has something very specific which is heavy with women. It's all ancestral lineage about women, whether they are wanted, they are not wanted, or how important they are. And so this is what we will be working with on the fourth call. Because even if, personally, if I have not been discriminated as a woman, but if if this is what is happening at a societal level, I also owe my allegiance to the community of women, the species of women. And I go through something similar here. So that's what we will set ourselves free in the fourth call. Then the fifth one is, so now we're kind of moving ahead in a graded way. The fifth one is a very, what do you say, it's a very sensitive call, because your relationship with your mother is defined in your first 6 years of your life. The earlier traumatic incidences happen, the deeper the imprint. So this is what we will be working with in you and the inner child in the fifth session. And then finally, once we've worked with all of this, we are now ready to connect with the mother, with who she is, in all her glory, taking her exactly as it is. But when we connect to her, we are actually now embracing the far larger feminine energies here. So that's how you come back to your feminine core. But though the theme is connecting back to your feminine core, it's actually a blueprint to work on practically all the issues in your life. So be it broken relationships, not having a partner in your life, losing the spark of your relationship, feeling that you are not a good mother, or feeling that your child is disconnected from you, or you have a very bad relationship with success and money. You feel that you just don't get what you deserve. And or for example, your self talk is extremely critical, and you don't like looking at your face in the mirror, or or if you have any kind of physical issues which are bigger labels. Also, as I had mentioned, if anything specifically with migraines, eating disorders, insomnia, I've been doing small research studies. These are very, very directly correlated to the mother here. So anything to do with the kidneys is again to do with the mother. So the list of physical ailments and mother goes a long way back. Any kind of gynecological issues, PCOD, please, this is the right package here. Also, other particular issues here, which is that if unfortunately, if anybody has lost a parent very early in life, especially the mother, which means that you've not got to experience her, or if you were separated from her at a very early age group, especially between the age of 0 to 6, 7 years, either through a premature birth, or maybe the mother was out working, or she left you with with her own mother or a grandmother or a relative to take care of, or if you are an adopted child, or these are all reasons by which you have not been able to experience your mother, because you still need your biological mother as she is. Or if by any reason, if your mother has gone through severe ailments, psychiatric issues, under depression, or she herself was suffering with some illnesses, which means she could not be emotionally and mentally available for you, then this is the ideal package here. And I could go on here as to, like I said, it's a very detailed call here. And so now the wonderful news is that though the money value of it is 26,100, but I think or for the tele summit we are offering at a highly special price for the first 10 buyers for rupees 6,000, and I think the regular price that we are offering is 12,300. But what is wonderful about this package is that over and above this 6 themed weekly group calls, you also get the Sacred of Circle of Women completely as a bonus. And plus, over and above that, you get a 30-minute one-to-one call with me as a bonus again. So whatever that we've done in the group work, you will get a chance to tie it up in person with me. So I think that's what I would say, that as I keep saying, it's the blueprint of life.
That's fantastic, Revati. Thank you so much. It's an incredible. So I actually jumped ahead and I bought your pre-tele summit offer. I woke up in the morning. It's the first thing I did. So, and I booked package B because I said, okay, I want to experience both. I want to experience Circle of Women
Awesome.
program. I want to experience that journey back to the feminine core. And it's amazing. It's 8 hours, 8 hours
Yes.
of calls, 8 hours of work
Yes.
altogether. And it's just 6,000 rupees. That is just remarkable. This is fantastic. The team has put up links to book the packages. I just remind everyone that the offers, these amazing, crazy, crazy prices that Revati's been so generous to share, are valid for the first 10 buyers. So get in there. In fact, in the morning, I got a message saying that I think people had already started transacting.
Okay.
And I said, my goodness, that's when I said, I'm so glad that I woke up in time to book the pre-tele summit offer. I have a question, Revati, from Devapriya. She
Huh?
says, are the group calls going to be family constellation sessions?
They're going to be based on family constellations. Yes.
Okay, okay, fantastic. And I have a comment from Vani. She said,
Okay.
I've had the good fortune to attend one of Revati's constellations and it was just fab.
Much funny. Thank you so much.
I'm so looking forward to this, Revati. That's really, really fantastic. We're going to, if there are any questions for Revati, please do post it on the Telegram group. And she's going to be around today. She's going to be around tomorrow. Revati is also doing another special demonstration tomorrow, Revati. That's at 11:11 a.m. India time. So if you want to experience her work a little bit more, you want to ask her some questions that we may not have covered today, or something specific for your something that you want to address in your life, and you want to find out if this process will and this package will help you to do that. Just come on Telegram, ask her, and she's there. Come on the call. You're going to get the invitation to the call right after this. So join the call. You get a second chance to experience Revati's work. I'll just ask, I'm going to check for any other questions that we may have.
Yes.
We have another comment from Nidhu.
Okay.
She says she really is such a master and the shifts are life-changing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
In fact, I'm amazed, Revati, because you had such remarkable instances of where people have seen shifts in monies, where people have seen shifts in their careers, and by just resolving these issues with their femininity, with any wounds that they're carrying from their mother. It's remarkable. We've got some of these on Revati's page on our site as well. Please do visit if you want to see more of the kind of remarkable stories of clients that that people have experienced with her. Join us on that. Join us tomorrow for the second chance to experience Revati's work. Join us on that call as well. And we'll call it a night for now and meet again. And you can continue to be on Telegram and ask Revati more questions there. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Revati.
Thank you so much, Ruchira, for having me on this Tele Summit. And I'm super excited to be doing the group sessions, the Sacred Circle of Women and Journey to the Feminine Core, because I really enjoy doing this work, and it's my passion here. And just I can't tell you enough how excited I am to wait for those sessions to happen.
Your passion shows through, Revati. Your passion shows through. I've got so many people saying you're awesome, and a whole bunch of people are thanking you. I'm absolutely certain that people are still experiencing the insights, etc., from today's demonstration. They're still experiencing the emotions from that.
Yes.
I have a comment from Bhaval. She says, beautiful, beautiful session, Revati. Amazing.
Wow. Thank you so much. I would also recommend people to kind of stay with what happened today, because it kind of keeps unveiling through the days. So between 0 to 7 days, you will start experiencing a lot of unpeeling of layers and deeper realizations and conscious awareness. So all the best there.
Oh, wonderful. Nidhu says, looking forward. Love Family Constellations. Teresa has signed up for Package B. Thank you. She says, thank you so much, Revati. Package B is fantastic, Revati. What an amazing offer. What an amazing, um, it's an all-encompassing process to go through. So I get to address my issue, I get to reconnect with myself as a woman, and
Yes.
I get to resolve the blocks that are standing in the way of having better relationships with my husband, with my children, with my in-laws, with money, with success.
Yes, yes. So it's kind of looking at everything, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your family, your spouse, your children, even your relationship with your team members. It's
Yeah,
all about
true.
connection, your health, your monies, your success. It's really all encompassing that way.
That's really remarkable. I've got more people putting up that they've signed up for Package B. Shweta has signed up. Shilpa has signed up. My goodness. Okay, get in there, people. I will stop talking so that you can do your transactions. And I'm going to request Amrish to keep the line open for a little bit longer. I have another comment that says, Revati, till now I had only heard about you.
Okay.
Fortunate to have had an experience with you. You are awesome.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. How amazing is that? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate. I'm so looking forward to this process, Revati.
Okay.
My mother's on this call as well, and
Okay.
I've been telling her about this call. I said you have to be on this call today.
Okay.
You would
Okay.
meet someone absolutely astounding.
Lovely.
Such,
Lovely.
such a beautiful process as well, Revati, that you take us through. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
say good night here. Thank you, Revati. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Ruchira. Thank you, Nidhu. And thank you, all you beautiful people. I hope to see you soon. And good night. Have a fantastic night.
Thank you, everyone. See you.
Bye.
Goodbye.